Yeah, so you've been at UCI now and seen this incredible growth.
Hmm.
Can you speak a little bit about how you've observed and how this unit has changed and what it can potentially offer to PhD students and the community at this point?
Well, when I first got here, it was an EDD program, and it was a fairly young EDD program. And there was an adventure in that the CSU campuses wanted to provide their own EDD programs. And we actually worked with four of them. We worked with Fullerton, Long Beach, Cal Poly, Pomona, and LA as they grew their EDD programs. And then once they were up and going, the campus here decided to go more in the PhD direction. And that's when we really got to look quite deeply at psychology and the contribution it makes, along with economics, sociology. So instead of just like, if you imagine a tree and you take a picture of it from one side, it might be a beautiful picture, but you only see part of it. We can now see education from many different sides. So you have pictures from a number of sides, and you come to understand it a bit better.
These different disciplinary perspectives, each provides
Yeah.
a different lens on the tree.
Hmm. And for me, it's meant that I had always been very interested in the arts, and had, when I was working in K-12 schools, seen the contribution they could make. But when the school was young, I had to be a jack of all trades. And now I can really focus more on something that I'm extremely interested in.
And I think with the new museum coming here, there's going to be incredible opportunities to expand around arts integration and arts education. So Liane, I know some of the work you did before you came to UCI in Colorado involved the arts more broadly and community engagement in particular. Can you share a little bit about what that work was all about?
Well, we were very lucky in that the location of the School of Education was very near to where the Colorado Shakespeare Festival was held. There was an amphitheater that had been built, I believe, during the Depression as a federal project. And it's a beautiful amphitheater, a stone amphitheater. And the Colorado Shakespeare Festival was held there every summer. And so I remember they drew in about 40,000 people. And I was just intrigued by it. And so that actually became my job as a graduate student while I was getting my PhD. I did everything from writing grants for them to payroll at one point, but mostly I did outreach to the local schools because Shakespeare was part of the curriculum, and the actors loved to go out and, you know, do a few scenes and talk to high school students. And for the students, I think it was an aha experience. They'd read it in their textbooks, one of the Shakespeare plays, and then they'd see it. And it would be so alive and so contemporary because it was almost always not staged as an Elizabethan drama, but as something contemporary. And it really caught their imaginations.
And once we have this new museum on campus, there'll be so many opportunities for bringing in the community, outreach to the community. Could you give just a piece of advice or two on how we might go about that work?
Yes, I think one thing that is helpful if funding is available is to have somebody go out and talk to the class, make a presentation before they come. I actually have been at the Irvine Museum when they have had elementary school kids coming in, and they love
Must
learning
be
about it.
magic.
Yeah, it is. However, sometimes it is helpful if somebody goes and just makes a presentation, maybe half an hour, and they come to understand how the Impressionist paintings are actually made at the beach or in some outdoor area in Southern California, and how the painter quickly outlines and creates a painting in, say, an hour or two that is then completed indoors. But that what makes these paintings so alive is that you catch the exact angle of the light and the things that you would have noticed had you been on the scene, which are unique. You don't really pick those up so much in photography. And then the kids can actually maybe paint something. And that makes them very, very eager to go to the museum and see the real paintings.